Welcome to the magazine. Today we're here with Bryon Knight of Fairhaven Frets. Welcome, Bryon.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Glad to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
Excellent. So what is Fairhaven Frets?
Fairhaven Frets, first of all, is a touchstone, a place for musicians to meet and if they have any needs for strings or repair or that kind of thing, that's what I'm here for.
Excellent, excellent. And so you celebrated your 1-year anniversary. Congratulations on being Fairhaven.
I did,
1 year
thank you.
On January 13th during a pandemic year.
Yes.
So how did that affect your new business?
That was interesting to say the least. I was open for 2 months, and 2 months and 2 days into my new business here, I had to shut down, and I closed for 3 months. In those 2 months, I had met several people coming in. The musical community has been very kind to me. I feel very blessed that I had people knocking on the window saying, "Hey, are you open?" "Well, I'm not open right now." "Well, wait, I have something for you." And I'd come to the door and they'd say, "Here, I dug this out from under the bed. Please fix it. You need some work." Yeah. They were giving me work because they felt I needed it, not because they needed it done.
Sure.
It was very, very kind of people to help support.
Good. So the community came together for it.
Absolutely.
That's great. So what are some of the products that you have here?
What I have here, I've carried guitars, mandolins, banjos, all kinds of accessories, strings and capos and picks and all kinds of stuff. Now, not just for stringed instruments, I also carry some reeds and that kind of stuff and valve oil and stuff for horn players and for brass and woodwind instruments as well.
Okay.
I've tried Fairhaven High School and Fairhaven Middle School. When they found out I was going to open up, because my kids go to those schools, they found I was going to open up a little shop, and they said, "Oh, we'd love to have some place where our students can pick up stuff that they need for school." And then we had a pandemic year where they didn't have band.
Right.
But that's okay. I still have it, and it's ready to go now.
That's right. And it's going to come back.
It will, absolutely.
Come back strong. So.
Absolutely.
So I hear that you started your musical career at the age of 11.
Well, my father was a recording artist in the 50s. Okay. One-hit wonder kind of thing. My father, my aunt, and my uncle had a trio. And I started, my mother made my father not pressure me into playing music. But he would do things like sit on my bed and play guitar while I'm playing with G.I. Joes and Hot Wheels. You know, I would walk by and see him playing, and I finally stopped one day. I said, "Dad, is it easy to play guitar?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Would you teach me?" And he didn't even answer me. He just yelled at my mom. He asked me, Grace, he finally asked me. So immediately he started giving me guitar lessons.
Oh, that's awesome.
And at that point, he hadn't played for 10, 15 years. Because when I came along, he decided that business was not good for a family man, so he decided just to concentrate on family.
Great.
But yeah, I've been playing ever since.
So that started you in the music industry then?
Absolutely. Started me in the music industry. I got my first guitar, and I immediately started taking it apart. And my mom says, no, you're not going to do that. Right. She went and found an old fiddle maker at a school near the school near where I was going to school. Okay. And 3 days a week, I would walk over to his shop and sweep the floors, and he would teach me about how instruments were made. And I was just fascinated by that. That got me interested in repairing and that kind of thing.
Oh, great. And what did that lead to? That
led to every time I was in a band, I became the guitar tech. I became repairing everyone's instruments and drums, and then I started going to guitar schools and hanging around the repair guys there and learning all I could until finally I had people asking me, "Hey, would you do a setup on my guitar?" And a setup is basically going through and straightening out everything on it, making it play perfectly. Okay. I got to where I could do that in my sleep. So I finally had people asking me, "Hey, are you going to ever open up a shop?" And there was one fellow in Little Rock, Arkansas, where I'm from, that he was the main guy, the main guitar tech there, and he and I were friends. He had taught me so much. And we actually had talked about going in business together, where I would have a little guitar shop and he would be the repair guy and I would help do repairs and that kind of thing. And he passed away. And while I was at his funeral, I had people going, "Hey, are you going to?" I said, "No, we're not going to talk about that."
Right.
A couple of months later, I finally decided I'm going to open up a shop. But just so happens that was January of 2009.
Okay.
In the depths of our economic crisis that we had.
Right.
Well, I think I'm destined to start businesses in the depths of crises.
Yes.
But it grew exponentially because, you know, people weren't buying new guitars; they were repairing their old guitars. Well, that's what I did.
Okay. And you had other career highlights here.
I did. I spent 25 years in television. Along my life, you know, I've been a prison guard. I've been a telephone repairman. I've been many things. But I spent 25 years in television as well, and doing some stuff for ESPN and Fox Sports and that kind of stuff. It sounds more glamorous than it really is.
But it's still a part of your career.
It is. It is. I think everything has kind of led to where I am right now. That I, you know, owning my own business,
Mm-hmm.
I have a clue about you know, how to promote it.
Sure.
I have a clue about how to run it. I have a clue about how to do the work. Obviously,
Sure.
you know, it just seems like it all has congealed together to be me.
Excellent. So what brought you to Fairhaven?
My wife was actually born in Milton, Massachusetts. And she lived in Jamaica Plains for a while, and they moved to New Hampshire, and then her father got a job in Arkansas.
Okay.
My wife and I met in Fort Smith, Arkansas, the Northwest Arkansas. It looks a lot like New Hampshire. That's why he moved there, because it was very much the same. But she spent all of her summers on Sconnecut Neck.
Oh, okay.
Her grandmother owned a cottage, and all summer long she'd spend on Sconnecut Neck. And this is where she wanted to live.
Sure.
And so we've been married 35 years, and for 35 years I've heard, "I want to go back to the Neck. I want to go back to the Neck." So finally she talked me into it, and we moved up here, and I love it up here.
Excellent. Well, we're glad she did,
Me
because
too.
it is a beautiful town, for sure, especially its neck and everything. It's great. So I've seen some of your videos with your daughter. So you've increased, like your dad, at the age of 11, have now brought your daughter into music.
Yes, we adopted from China, both of our children. And my daughter is a character. Both of our children have cleft lip and palate. Mm-hmm. And in working with their speech, singing became something that was a very good practice for her speech. So she and I began singing together.
Oh,
so
great.
she, you know, always wanted to play an instrument, so I got her a ukulele. So she plays ukulele a little bit. She won't play on camera, but she does play. But during the pandemic, when we were locked down, I spent time learning a little bit about ukulele myself, and we produced a couple of cute little videos that we really enjoyed doing.
So I understand that you're also a performer.
I do perform, not as much anymore, but I've done some things in the past. I've played with a few folks. I've lucked into a couple of things. We opened for B.B. King one time.
Oh, wow.
And his bass player and drummer didn't show up, and I was playing bass.
Wow.
And so the guitar player comes to us and says, "Hey, our bass player and drummer didn't show up. Can you guys fill in for us? You know, we'll pay you a union scale." I'm like, "You don't have to pay us at all. This is B.B. King. Are you kidding?"
Right.
And so we got up there, and the guitar player's looking. He was the band manager. So the guitar player's looking at us going, "Okay, you just watch me and everything." And BB walks up to the microphone and says, "How you doing, everyone?" And the crowd goes crazy. There's probably, 500 to 1,000 folks there, and he turns around to the drummer and I says, "Okay, boys, now y'all the rhythm section, because I don't play no chords." And the guitar player looks at us and says, "Oh, just watch me. I'm watching you." Yeah. So we get through the ninth. He played all the simple stuff. And we got through the night. It was worked really well. And the next night they were playing. Says, look, we haven't heard from our guys yet. Could you guys go to Tulsa with us and play that gig for us? Well, that wasn't that far away from Fort Smith, Arkansas. So we went to Tulsa the next day, and we get up on stage with them, and they did the same set they did the night before. And BB steps up to the mic and says, "How you doing, Tulsa?" And the crowd goes crazy. Now we've got 10,000 people.
Wow.
I've never been in front of 10,000 people before in my life. So he turns around to us and says, "Okay, boys, now y'all the rhythm section because I don't play no chords." and the guitar player said, "Just watch me, everything's fine." Oh, yeah, they did the same set they did the night before, so we played, nailed it.
Good, good.
The next, after the gig, they said, "Okay, we heard from our guys. They're going to meet us in Oklahoma City. Would you guys go just as a backup in case we need them, something happens?" Okay, and of course in the back of our minds we're going, we're on tour with BB King. We were just filling in.
Right.
So we got to Oklahoma City, and we got there and we got up on stage. Now we're in front of 20,000 people.
Wow.
Couldn't hear yourself think. BB steps up and says, "How you doing, Oklahoma City?" The crowd goes wild. He turns around to us and we couldn't hear him. He says, "Y'all the rhythm section because I don't play no chords." And I looked at the drummer. I says, "I don't think he knows who we are." We did the same set, nailed it. Right. Those guys were there, the guys the regular musicians. Now they were so graceful. They come up to us and says, "Oh, you guys did such a great job." They paid us, BB paid us, or his group paid us. The two musicians that we're filling in for reach in their pocket and pull out a wad of money and says, "Here's $100. Use that to get back home with." So it's like they were such a great experience.
What a great experience.
On the way home, we were talking with each other. The drummer and I were talking with each other in the car, going, "Wow, that was great. You think they'll call us again?" "I don't know. Did you give them their number?" "No." "Did you give them their number?" So we never heard from them again, but that's okay.
But you had a great experience.
Had a great experience.
That's good. Any plans for expansion here?
Yeah, I'm actually, this has been a pandemic year, and I've managed to make the ends meet, but I found that I've got to have a little more space here. I've got 450 square feet. So I'm expanded to 1,000 square feet. I'm knocking down a wall here in the back of the shop and expanding. I want to add 3 more lesson rooms. So we'll be doing guitar and bass and mandolin and some piano lessons as well. Mm-hmm. I'm adding a guitar safe back there that's going to be completely enclosed and humidity controlled, that kind of thing, for when people bring their instruments in, they can know that everything is completely under control as far as humidity and temperature is concerned.
And safe.
And safe, absolutely. And so, yeah, I look forward to having a little more room here to have more folks in and some jam sessions. We're going to have a grand opening, which I never got a chance to do. Sure. We're going to have that this spring. Excellent. So, yeah, we're looking forward to it.
How does someone get in touch with you?
Oh, if you want to give a call to the shop, my number is 508-433-FRET. That's 508-433-3738.
Okay.
I'm located at 105 Sconticut Neck, which is right next to a package store. It's across the street from Max and the old Jacksons. So I'm right in that same area.
Okay, great. And you have a Facebook page?
I do have a Facebook page. Just look for Fairhaven Frets.
Yeah.
You can just type that in, or you can look for Bryon Knight, and that's Bryon. But Bryon Knight, and it'll link you right to my Facebook page for Fairhaven Frets.
Well, that's excellent, Bryon. Well, I want to thank you for your contributions to our community and for being a part of our community, and just wish you the best of luck in this next coming year, which will be a lot better for all of us and a lot better for Fairhaven Frets also.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Bryon. Welcome back to the magazine. I'm your host, Charlie Murphy, and today we're here with Frank Grace. Welcome, Frank.
Thanks for having me, Charlie.
Thank you. So tell us something about yourself.
Well, I'm from Fall River, Massachusetts. Grew up in there. I actually married the girl next door. And since we were 16, we've been together, and we moved to Acushnet, started a family. Mm-hmm. And I'm here. When I first got married, I decided to go back to college, and I went to UMass Dartmouth for textile chemistry, of all things.
Oh, wow.
Studied there for 4 years while I worked in Fall River, and finished up my Bachelor of Science degree in textile chemistry, got a job at a place called Harday Industries in Taunton, and as a textile chemist. Worked my way up to the Director of Research and Development, and went back to school during there, did the off-campus training at NC State for polymer and color chemistry. And now I'm here, still working at the same place in Taunton at Harday Industries, and do photography is my full-blown passion. It's an obsession, passion, but it keeps my mind at ease. It's fulfilling, and I just love it. Yeah.
So what got you into photography?
When I was a little kid, my dad had an old film camera, a Canon AE1 or 2. And the thing was, when I was a little kid, it was just fascinating to imagine what this thing does. It looked futuristic even back then. And I wanted to try it. He would never let me touch it. One day when I was older, he let me try it, and I put a roll of film in there. Had no idea what I was doing. It came out awful, nothing developed. But from there, I ended up getting another camera when I was older, and it just kind of blew into this obsession with photographing, just capturing subjects.
And what do you like to shoot? I know that some of your research here has done some abandoned places, historic places, haunted places.
Yeah. I definitely have a passion for reportedly historic and haunted places. The mysterious always kind of captures me. Like I wanna know what's there. Like if this place is haunted, this happened there, any kind of big event that may have left an imprint on the place. But my main focus, like for photographing, whether it's an historic place, an abandoned place, or a haunted place, is to kind of, it's like the camera's my version of a time machine. So when I capture the place, especially the museums that are maintained well and kept to period timepieces, I like to convey kind of what it's like to be there.
So what do you hope people get when they look at your photos? That you convey that, but what do you hope that they get?
I hope that they can see something they hadn't seen before. It's typically, I'm kind of like not a photographer's photographer. Typically other professionals don't like the style of photos that I do necessarily. They like it's too much Photoshop or colorization or contrast. But I like to use all those tools in Photoshop and Lightroom to convey what it's like to be there, like the sense that you get to be there. And that's what I try to capture. Bring you to that place, look around the photo, see what it's like to be there, and eventually want to have people go there and discover that for themselves about the location.
And the photo behind you?
Yes.
Where is that?
That is the New Bedford Orpheum Theater, in the south end of New Bedford. Yeah, it's been closed since 1958, 59, and this photo was taken in 2011. Yeah, and it's truly in a magnificent building. Yeah,
Nice.
Big history with that building. A French Rifle Association actually built the building.
Wow.
They have a rifle range in there, a dance hall, you name it. There's everything in there. It's one of the few abandoned places around that hasn't been broken into or vandalized or anything like that. So it's still as it was in 1958 when it closed, other than all the decay from weatherization and everything.
Wow. Thank you for explaining that.
Oh, no problem.
Where would you like to shoot next?
Oh boy, I would love to someday shoot the Lakeville Sanitarium. It's an abandoned place in Lakeville, but it's off limits. But I would love to maybe someday go to the catacombs in France and photograph all those bones and skulls, and any place like that really captures my imagination.
Well, you're here in historic Fairhaven Town Hall.
True, yes.
So I'm sure that this would be a great place to photo also.
The building is magnificent. Yeah, this is the first time I've been in this town hall. I've been in the Fairhaven High School and was lucky enough to shoot that for the Alumni Association. Okay. And this has a lot of the same type of characteristics. The beauty, the woodwork, they don't make them like this anymore.
No, they don't.
No.
Truly don't. So tell us about your Chernobyl exhibit experience.
Oh, okay. So I went in 2018. I had a friend post on Facebook that he just scheduled his trip to Chernobyl, and I remember Chernobyl well when I was 16 in high school, and when the whole thing happened, when the meltdown happened. And it was one of those places, the top of my bucket list as I got older. I would love to go there and just tour the place. And my friend Bryon sent me a message, why don't you come along? So I contacted my dad, who recently got into photography a few years ago after I did. And he wanted to go too. So we went together with 6 other people and got to stay there for 3 days in the exclusion zone, they call it. Okay. In Pripyat, where the actual city that was abandoned when the explosion happened. And we got to go in hospitals, schools, nurseries, a little bit of everything. It was amazing. People might think that it's dangerous to go there, but you actually get as much radiation on an international flight than you do 3 days in Chernobyl. Wow. And you're holding a dose meter, so you're getting radiation levels all the time. Really? And you just know where to step away from, yeah. It's an amazing experience. Excellent.
So what are some other places you'd like to shoot? You mentioned about the Lakeville site, but where else do you think? And also, well, tell us that first.
I've had my eye on the Paul Revere house in Boston. Okay. I would love to shoot that because that's like, it's still as it was with all the modern cityscape right around it. Sure. I would love to, on my list is, well, definitely after walking through here to come up here, Town Hall. I'm trying to think some other places where anything, I want to do some local churches. Okay. And the reason why I want to do those is like this print here, this is a vertical panorama. So the camera's actually kind of going up instead of, your typical panorama. And I want to capture so you can see the altar, the organ in the back, and the ceiling all in one frame. So I'm working on trying to hook up with a bunch of churches in Fairhaven and New Bedford to try to do that, and Fall River as well.
The Unitarian Church is really...
I've been lucky enough to shoot that, and that place was gorgeous. Yeah, a friend of mine who's a professional photographer brought me there, and we went all the way up to the bell tower and overlooked the whole town. And oh man, it was insane. Yeah, it was crazy.
So how does someone get to see your work? How would they contact you or find out your work?
You can go to trigphotography.com. Okay. Or on Facebook under Trig Photography or Frank Grace. Usually Frank C. Grace. My dad is Frank Grace III, so they were always getting confused on Facebook. Okay. Or on Instagram. Any of the social media, I usually post them with links and information on the sites and locations. And if people have questions about photography, I'm willing to help them if I can, and things like that. I like to donate a lot of the photos to the historic locations, to their groups, especially if they're a nonprofit. It's like, you can take these, print them, use them for promos or something like that to kind of help out the community, help out the historic, locations, because they're always having a hard time getting traffic in, especially during the age of COVID.
Yes, exactly. But has COVID affected you at all? And,
Absolutely. I have not been going to many places that there's a lot of people around just because of that. So I'll go to places where either the buildings are closed and they let just me in with somebody to walk me around. So yeah, it's hurting, it's itching me. But I did find a newfound passion for photographing birds during COVID, because being home all the time, especially during vacation, put up some bird feeders and hummingbirds and got a liking to identifying and photographing birds, which was a lot of fun.
Well, we'll have to make sure that Carolyn Longworth gets a view of this, because she's a big bird hunter. She's a past director of the Millicent Library, which would be another great place to go.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So hopefully she'll get in touch with you, because she's a bird lover like crazy.
Oh, excellent, yeah. I love learning more about that stuff, yeah.
So tell me about some of the other projects that you've worked on.
Well, one of the big projects I'm really proud of is I work with my friend Jeff Belanger, Tony Dunn, John Judd, and a couple other people. We do a thing called New England Legends. Okay. And my friend Jeff Belanger is an author. He does all the research and behind a lot of these places. And we'll go on trips together, the three of us. Tony does the video. Jeff does he's in front of the camera. I do the stills. We even put together a haunted New England calendar every year.
Oh, tell us something about that.
Yeah, we do. What we do is we always feature 2 haunted places in New England, 2 from each state. So we end up with the 12-month calendar. Sure. Things like the Lizzie Borden House in Fall River, the Mark Twain House, places like that. Rose Island Lighthouse in Newport. And so I'll take the photos, and Jeff will come up with the little story, the blurb,
Okay.
and we'll do our own. We print it all on our own, sell it on our own, and definitely a labor of love. But those guys, Jeff and this guy Ray Orger, will put together a podcast of each of these locations, and they do it every week. And if I have a photo of it, they'll feature a photograph of it, and they tell the story, the history behind the haunt or legend, since it's New England Legends. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's places around here you would never even known of with the research that Jeff does. He's always finding me new places to photograph as well that I never heard of. Right. So yeah, it's a awesome team to be a part of.
Sure. So how can someone get involved with that podcast? Like, how can they reach out to it?
Yeah, they can look under, it's on Apple and the Google Store under New England Legends podcast. Yeah, or on the internet under ournewenglandlegends.com.
Okay. I have one other question to ask you here about the haunted places that you've been to. Have you ever been haunted when you went into a haunted place?
There's one place that I actually had a full-blown experience with my dad. It was the stadium building in Woonsocket, Rhode Island. It's connected to the Stadium Theater, and they were gutting this out. It was abandoned for years. And they called me and said, hey, we would love, I shot their theater in the past. Do you want to shoot this building? It's abandoned, decayed, stuff that's right up your alley. Absolutely, because they wanted to do a before and after. They just purchased the building, and they're going to restore it and use it as a conservatory, apartments, things like that. So me and my dad are in there, and he's in like the 3rd floor, I'm on the 4th floor, and I hear him calling me. I go down to the 3rd floor, and he's in this wide open room. It's gorgeous, you know, windows everywhere. There's nothing spooky about this room at all. Pure daylight, afternoon light. Walking in, and I said, you know, Dad, what's up? He says, come on in. So I step in the room. I'm like, what? And he's like, a little bit more. And as soon as I come in the room, I start tearing up. Like, I feel this really like sadness, and I could not explain it. And I'm a scientist. I'm a rational guy. And I'm thinking, what's caused this? As soon as I backed up, it was gone. Yeah. And he's like, and my dad says, you felt it too, didn't you? Yeah, it was just strange, yeah. But every now and then you hear a thing, hear a house, or hear a noise, or a bump,
Now you know.
you know, that is unexplainable. But nothing full-blown, not quite like that, just overcome with a feeling for no reason at all. Wow. Yeah, and it happened to be a dentist office, for what it's worth, in the past. When I went and explained what was going on, she said, oh yeah, that building's haunted. I'm like, oh, well, thanks for telling me, now I know.
So what's the future?
The future is just keep doing what I'm doing. Would love to explore more and maybe get a little more for the portfolio, learn more about the cameras. What I like is that every time I go out with a camera, there's something new to learn. Like, no place is the same. So there's always some new technique, or you come home and you look at the photos and you want to, okay, what do I want to do the next time? What can I do to make this better, or what should I have done, or what did I try and didn't work? So yeah, just to keep learning and advancing and trying different things and not stay in a rut all the time, but maybe spice things up a little.
Well, we thank you for your talent.
Thank you.
We thank you for everything you bring to our community, and continue your great work and bringing these photos to life.
Thank you, Charlie. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks.